Hey y'all, it's Anime K-Man. Today I'm going to be reviewing episode 55 of Gegege no Kitarou. And this episode was actually pretty nice. Because there's one of the few episodes where we won't have any fights or anyone dying or anything like that. I like how we just have a nice and relatively calmer episode than usual. Because I like its premise where you have this yokai called Hee, who a few years ago learned tennis from this human girl. Then a few years later took up this student called Kumiko, trained her up to the point that she was 4th place in the world when it comes to tennis. And then years later, he gets bored playing tennis with monkeys in the yokai world, and he wants to go to the human world and teach this human, pretty much a human girl, tennis. And then he ends up meeting this girl called Yumi, and he wants to teach this girl tennis. I mean, this girl already knows how to play tennis, but he wants to coach her so that she's even better at tennis. And I kind of like that, this episode. How it had some tongue-in-cheek jokes, like when he was like going all out with like this little wooden sword and she was running. And then the sequences where he's like telling her shit like she can only drink water once she does 500 serves. And then she's at this place all day and night just practicing tennis. Like that kind of shit is kind of hilarious. And then what I like even more about it is this episode just kind of gets like even more funnier when later on this girl Yumi who's being taught by he doesn't want this shit anymore. And then randomly she finds another coach who was another yokai, which is Kawasu. And then I was just laughing with joy at the randomness of it all. And then you see he get jealous. And then once he starts doing things like getting near her, touching his shoulder, he gets accused of all these different fucking harassments. Like when he's in the perfume shop, he's accused of of like scent harassment. Or when he's turning the AC where Yumi's at, it's AC harassment and all that. And I like those jokes, kind of poking fun at sometimes the whole situation where at times if you like, say, if you do something like just really small, at times you could be accused of doing something completely wrong. And I like how Toei kind of poked fun of that when you have the poor dude getting blamed for smaller shit. But at times though, he does do some shit where it's kind of justified too, so there is that. And aside from having those type of themes, I also like how this episode also had the theme of if you don't advance with the times, life leaves you behind. Because it showed off He's methods of training someone worked in the past, but with today's climate and with the way he was treating Yumi harshly in the training, that she don't fly anymore. And I like how during the episode, at the very least, it showed off that message. Because while he didn't exactly learn his lesson, at the very least, the episode did kind of state that lesson. Because Yumi ditched his ass, and she pretty much at the end used Wally Wall to teach her how to play tennis when it comes to defense and all that. So that was also another cool thing about this episode too. It had multiple messages that any viewer can pretty much take and watch and reflect on. So that's why I thought from a script standpoint this episode was good. And from a character standpoint, I thought the episode was nice. At the very least, even though we didn't get character development from our main cast, we got to at the very least get we got to see him in some funny moments. And he had some nice characterization. Because in the span of the episode, we know he's kind of like hyperactive. He doesn't really listen to anyone's fucking advice, even though it probably helped his ass out. He doesn't really take into consideration anything that's like new. He just stickler with his old ways. Because even at the end, when he's playing with the monkeys, he's just telling them you should play it with spirit instead of just reflecting on it and being like they should improve their footwork, like how Yumi was trying to tell that he should teach her things like footwork and all that kind of stuff. So we get at the very least that much characterization for he and all that, and he's quite persistent too. So I thought that's why from a character standpoint it did well. And there was even some jokes too, like when Kitarou just knocked him out in one fucking hit, and he's like, oh, and then Kitarou's like, oh, you're weak. I like that. It was a nice way to, from a character standpoint, to subvert our expectations, because we were going to think we were going to get an epic fight. But no, just a slight little knockout. And it gave the episode a fresh vibe, to end off not having a epic fight scene. And that's why I thought this episode worked from a character standpoint. As for the animation standpoint, totally could have done a better job, but it got the job done, because at least while the tennis sequences were not that well animated, at the very least, the art was well done, to their credit. And the soundtrack got the job done, and the voice performances were well done too, I gotta say. And taking all these factors into consideration, I'm gonna rate this episode a 7 out of 10. I thought it was good. Not darn good, but I thought it was good. Because 7 is above average in my scale. Because 5's average, 10's exceptional, 1's abysmal. So that's why, overall, I like the episode. So that's really the only thing I really wish this episode could have been is I kind of wish it would have been a 2-parter. So I would have loved to see Yumi spend some time with Volleyball, but because Volleyball is a side character in Gegege no Guitar that we see quite a bit, but we never really get him in big doses, you know? And that's really the only slight weakness in Gegege no Guitar at times. While we have Kitarou and Cat Chick and Daddy Eyeball well fleshed, there are characters at times that need fleshing out, like Old Man Crybaby, Sandwich, Volleyball, and Rollercloth. And with the episode count that Gegege no Guitar has, this is really one of the few shows that has the luxury of being able to flesh out all the characters that the writing staff truly wanted it. So I'd say that was really the only weakness about this episode. It felt kind of rushed, but overall I still enjoyed the episode, and I thought it was good for those reasons. So anyways, guys and gals, these are my thoughts on Gegege no Guitar episode 55. Comment down your thoughts on the episode in the comment section below. Rate the video, subscribe, share the video if y'all want to, and I'll see you guys later if you subscribe for more. Alright, thank y'all so much for watching, everyone. Bye bye.